Alright guys, welcome back to this week's episode. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about Nintendo Classic Consoles. So recently, there's been a lot of news going on that they're not going to do an N64 Classic anytime soon. So, is that a bad thing? Or is that a good thing? I think that's a good thing. And let's talk about it. Alright, so why is that a good thing? Now, it's only a good thing if they plan on doing something similar to what I'm going to talk about. If they're not, and they don't do anything at all, then it might be bad. But if they do what I'm going to discuss, I think it's good. And if they do the other thing, then I don't think it's good. So, let's talk about it. First thing, this is what I'm hoping they do. I hope that, I would love a Game Boy, a Nintendo 64 Classic, a nice little small one, just like the other ones, to put up on the shelf and be cool. But, at the same time, for the same money, if they do it the other way, that would be better for gaming-wise for me, but less of a nostalgic look. So, here's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping Nintendo releases a bundle for the Switch. That, kind of like the Sega Genesis Classic, Sega Genesis collection, but obviously it wouldn't have as many N64 games because that'd be way too much. But what would be cool if they did 10 to 20 N64 games for $60, maybe more if they have an add-on with it. So what I'm hoping is maybe they do like a wireless N64 controller to be used on the Nintendo Switch, bundled with a game for 10 to 15 N64 games. Put the game in the console, got your controller, and you're playing N64 games on your controller. So you still get a cool new version of the N64 controller, but it's for the Switch. Now, that would be what I'd be hoping they're doing if they're thinking about not doing an N64 Classic. Maybe it'd be 10 games for $60 with a controller. But the other thing they could do is maybe release more bundle packs of the N64 games. So maybe they do another 10-pack with a different color N64 controller. So you could get like all the fantastic colors or the color that you want, and it comes with a different set of 10 games. So they could release multiple versions of it. Are there that many different 10 N64 games you want? Maybe not, but maybe 3 or 4 packs, or they released maybe a bundle pack for $100, get 2 N64 controllers and 20 games, or however much they have to do. The other thing that would be cool is if they, to cut costs so they're not wireless, maybe they do a wired version and it connects to the system with USB. And then what they could release, which kind of satisfies the fans of the the mini consoles, do a USB hub that's in the shape of an N64 controller or N64 console, and you can plug 4 USB ports into it, so you can plug in 4 N64 USB controllers. And you can buy the USB controllers separately, and you can buy the game pack. So maybe the game pack comes with 1 controller, a USB hub, and 10 of the best N64 games for, $80. Or maybe $100 because you're getting a controller, a USB hub, and the game. And maybe you can buy the game separately if you don't want to use this N64 controller. And then they can always add on. So they can add downloadable content where you buy 5 more games, or you can buy games individually as they're released for a couple bucks a game. I think that would be a cooler way to go than the N64 Classic. Even though I would love to have that little box on my shelf, I think it would help sell more Switch consoles. It would help them extend to add more games to keep refreshing, because that was the one thing with the NES Classic and Super NES is once you bought it, you got no more games, which isn't a big deal for some people. I would like to have more games. You know, obviously it can be hacked, but it'd be nice having an official channel, you know, so the games are legit from, you know, the companies that are making them, and help support whoever, you know, still owns those licenses. But if they don't want to go that route, you know, maybe less production now. They don't have to develop a board, develop another emulator. Do one for the Switch, cartridge base, pop it in, you can play it. You can download it digitally as well, and just order the controllers separately. So that's kind of where I'm hoping they're going. I think it'd be cool just to walk in, grab my box, have the N64 controller inside with the game, plug in, get 10 of the best N64 games. Now, it wouldn't work portably very much, but you could use, you know, the Joy-Cons when you're in portable mode, and you get to play N64 games portably. That's kind of where I'm hoping they go. It would also be cool if maybe they released the NES Classic, the games, onto a cassette cartridge for the Switch. Or, you know, they're releasing a lot of the games free, so they might just put those on there for free. But if they didn't, or for people that don't want the online service, they could buy the NES Classic Edition cartridge, $30, pop it in, you can play them, they're all on there, and maybe some more added functionality now that you have the games, the SP versions or whatever they want to do. Now, could they go a different way? Which, this is what I'm thinking they might be thinking of doing, and I'm hopefully wrong, but you know Nintendo, they love doing weird things, or not the best things sometimes. Maybe they're overvaluing their N64, or their retro games now, that they see how well they're helping to sell. Maybe they're thinking that, well, N64 games are a little bit more in depth, they're a little bit more closer to modern games than they are so much to retro games. When I say retro, I mean 2D, which a lot of people consider more retro than 3D games, I guess. So I'm thinking maybe they're seeing N64 as more of a bridge between retro and new, and value them more than the Super Nintendo and NES. So they could be thinking that they might be able to charge, you know, a remastered N64 game for $40, $50, $60 for the Switch. I mean, how many people wouldn't love to see a remastered version of the Ocarina of Time for the Switch? Even if it was the 3DS version for the Switch, would you pay $40 for it? I would. So for Nintendo, maybe they're thinking, why should we put 10 to 20 N64 games for $60, build another system to put it on, and sell it, and it doesn't help sell Switch games? When we could sell Zelda for $40, or even $20 a game. And at that point, 10 games is $200 for Nintendo versus having to build anything. I'm hoping they don't go that route. I'm hoping they don't value their N64 games that much to the point where they think they could get $10 to $20 for them easily on the N64. They might be able to. But at that price point, you're kind of keeping people out of all the N64 titles and less likely to try them out. Where if you sold 10 for $50 or $60 with a controller, you know, more people have the option to try some of the other N64 games they may never have a chance to try. Where at $20 a pop, you might only buy one or two of the ones you really like and then never really try a chance on the other ones. So I'm hoping they don't value them at that price range and decide, hey, you know, $20 a piece, Switch versions of the games, there you go. Help sell more Switches. If you want to help sell more Switches and also seem like a great value, I'm thinking 10 N64 games with a controller, USB, so it's wired, $60, maybe $70. If you want to go more than that, maybe a little N64 adapter that has 4 USB ports on it that you can plug in, put on the floor, and it looks like you're playing a mini N64 console. That would be awesome. I'm hoping they go the route of at least N64 games on a cartridge with a controller. You can buy extra controllers with different colors, plug them in USB, and there you go. Or even if they feel like, packing a GameCube adapter and making the N64 a GameCube adapt and instead of USB. It wouldn't make much sense. It'd be better just to go USB. But no, Nintendo, they probably have millions of those GameCube adapter ends just lying around and they want to just get rid of them or something along those lines. I'm hoping they go that way. All right. I think that's it. Yeah. So I think it's a good idea. Get rid of the classic consoles if you're afraid they're taken away from your Switch sales. Okay, I get it. But don't just abandon the concept completely. Give people that want to play N64 classic games a chance on the Switch. Help sell the Switch games, but also have a nice in-between. You get an N64 controller. You get a little mini USB adapter that looks like an N64 console. Bundle it up for $60-$70 with some 10 games, and you can always add more games in the future with downloadable content, add-ons, $10 to $20 for another 4 or 5 pack, or multiple versions of it. The red controller, blue controller, their own games. Slide them in, play them. Hopefully they go along that lines and don't overvalue. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think that Nintendo's planning or which way you think they should go. Leave in the comments. And also, what's your favorite N64 game? All right, guys, have a good night. Keep on gaming and talk to you later.